Play the Juan Williams thing. Do you have the Juan Williams, Michelle Malkin bite? It's up on the Blaze. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing soundbite, and nobody's watching the news because A, you know that they're not telling you the truth, and B, they're so far away from the truth. Living in New York or Washington, D.C., they haven't even been close to the truth in I don't know how long. Here's the cut. Go ahead.
And all you can do, Juan, is say, claim, 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 and blame, 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 Bush, Bush, Bush.
Wow, listen, I tell you what, Michelle, I'm a real reporter. I'm not a blogger out in the blogosphere somewhere. I'm going to tell you something. The reporters go to officials in this town in a free society. Hang on, please. In a free society.
Right, because I'm not a real reporter and you are.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, Juan Williams, he's not a bad guy. I've had dinner with Juan Williams before. I disagree with almost everything Juan Williams said, but I don't think he's a bad guy.
No.
I think he's just,
he's reasonable sometimes.
Yeah, he's wrong most of the times. But, he's not a bad guy. But listen to the arrogance here. I'm a real reporter in Washington that goes and talks to these people. Oh, that gives you some special insight? It doesn't give you insight. These people are lying to you, and he knows that most of them are lying to him. They're just so far out of touch with absolutely everything now. We've turned into the Soviet Union. We have a press that nobody listens to because everybody knows. When you heard things in the Soviet Union, let's go back to our childhood, Pat. You'll remember this, Stu. You won't. You're not old enough. But we know that the Soviet Union had Pravda, and it was the official mouthpiece, and you never got anything. My friend John Huntsman Sr., he bought Aeroflot Airlines. He said that was the most he couldn't get out of it fast enough. He's like, man, this place is so corrupt. He said the amazing thing is when they bought it, these airplanes would just disappear. They would just go. You'd load in Moscow, and your friends would be waiting for you in Leningrad, and the plane would never show up. And Aeroflot would say, "Oh no, the plane never took off." No, I just talked to my daughter who saw my husband off in Moscow and watched the plane take off. No, it didn't take off. That plane was canceled. He was burning in some forest, and nobody would report on it. The government wouldn't say anything. They will appoint a special counsel for that, and it would be some friend of somebody in the Politburo, and they would investigate. No, nothing to see here. Smoke. No, it was a very bad, weird rain cloud that was happening, and lots of that fire was. That was a lightning storm. There, that's what that was. You didn't have a spouse. You didn't have a spouse. What are you talking about? And the Pravda, the official news source, would never even report on things. You'd get your news, the real news, if you trusted your neighbor. Most didn't. If you trusted your neighbor, if you trusted the people in your family, you'd tell the news to each other. And you just try to figure it out. Well, that's what we're headed for. I mean, we're almost there. Except we have the one advantage right now that they didn't, the internet. We can talk to each other. But we have to figure out what the difference is between propaganda, conspiracy theory, and reality.